Countdown to the 2023 polls. APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu goes for Shetima as running mate. And APC reacts to rumors of resignation of the party's national legal advisor. Describes it as false and misleading. Plus, lessons from Lagos and Edo State's flood. Anambra State government demolishes illegal structures and water channels. Welcome to Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguele. The need for Nigeria to rejuvenate its oil and gas sector re-echoed at the 2022 Nigeria Energy Conference. Key players at a panel discussion reiterates that energy mix must be prioritized rather than just focusing on oil and gas. The expectation is that other derivatives from crude oil not undergoing transition will attract capital investment. Lydia Sampson will tell us more.
Chemicals such as bitumen, rubber, and marine oil are all produced from crude oil. The panel drawn from key stakeholders say it is time to change the barrel to harness the derivatives from crude oil towards making the mix more attractive. They noted that the Ukraine-Russian crisis is a double-edged sword because despite the challenges, people who would otherwise not look at Nigeria are now looking for investment in Nigeria's natural gas sector.
There are trinity of objectives for every national oil company, whether it's limited or corporation. They are expected to provide energy security. That's the first E. They are expected to provide financial security. And they are expected to provide growth security. The combination of energy security, finance security, and growth and development are the fulcrum of every national oil company.
And the truth of the matter is, even before energy transition, we've always had challenges attracting funds into the African or to Nigerian markets.
Participants agree the country must deploy the Trinity of S, which are stability, sustainability, and security for sustainable funding of its energy mix.
The recent steep increase in the price of petrol, diesel, and even aviation fuel had adversely affected businesses in Nigeria. MSMEs continue to depend on gasoline and diesel for their businesses to survive. Given that we have an estimated 40 million MSMEs in the country, you can see clearly that there is indeed a need for the conversations to continue.
We acknowledge the vast opportunities despite the challenges, noting that Nigeria remains a show haven across the value chains in the industry. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's turn to politics. Presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has formally confirmed the former governor of Borno State, Senator Kashim Shetima, as his running mate for the 2023 presidential election. Asiwaju Tinubu disclosed this while speaking to newsmen after paying salah homage to President Muhammadu Buhari at his Daura residence in Katsina State. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Masari has stepped down as APC vice presidential candidate. Let's get details from State House correspondent Adam Musambo.
The presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was accompanied to Daura by Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State, Youth and Sports Development Minister Sanda Dare, and other close associates. His engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari lasted more than 1 hour 30 minutes behind closed doors. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who spoke to newsmen shortly after, said a wide range of issues were discussed with the Nigerian leader, including the choice of his running mate for the next general elections.
The only one that was in place as a replacement we thought today, and there be already an announcement to replace him fully with a substantive,
The substantive one.
Kashim Shetima. I have not discussed with him. I've disclosed it to you since I've disclosed it to the president.
Why Kashim Shetima?
No, that's because he competent, capable, reliable,
and able.
The APC presidential candidate also used the opportunity to express absolute confidence in the ability of the governing party to return power in 2023.
Inshallah, we're going to win.
Why are you so confident?
Because we are a progressive party. We have the focus on Nigerian problems. We faces the challenge squarely. We are not running away from it. We have a better program for the people and about the people and ready to serve. Within a short period of time, there will be a good foundation on infrastructure. We face challenges of terrorism, we know that. It's only, a poor thinker and observer will not recognize the challenge. But once you recognize a challenge, you can prepare yourself very well to tackle it and defeat it. And that is what our party is all about.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has been receiving several other personalities from all walks of life on Salah homage.
As our president of Nigeria and also our father, it becomes necessary for us to come and visit him and wish him all the best. As you know, that Salah is part of our religion, and these days are among the most blessed days religiously, and we have to come show our happiness to him and pray for him as well.
This is quite a solemn occasion. It's an occasion that depicts peace, bond of friendship, and also prosperity in our land. So I've come to share the moment with him and to also thank him for giving purposeful leadership to our country.
It's a very opportune moment for us to come and thank Mr. President for the good work that he's doing, and for Allah to continue to guide him and to help him so that he will complete his tenure successfully and leave the legacy that we all look forward to looking back tomorrow and say that this man has done great for us.
This is a challenging time for the NNPC. What can you assure Nigerians?
Yes, first of all, there are issues around supply disruptions. This we are overcoming it. There are issues around pricing. We have resolved them. Inshallah, in the next 3 to 4 days, people will see relief. It will vanish. As we may all know, in most parts of the country, there are no fuel queues except Lagos and Abuja, and we understand the real logistic issues. We are resolving the logistic issue, and I'm very certain and convinced that within the next 2 to 3 days, this will vanish also. Activities marking the Eid al-Kabir Salah celebrations continue. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The presidential standard bearer of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has expressed his absolute respect and regard for both the Christian and Muslim faith in the country. Tinubu, who announced Senator Kashim Shettima as Muslim, two-term governor of Borno State as his running two-term governor of Borno State as his running mate, noted that he is not oblivious of religious and ethnic sensitivities of the nation, but made the choice in the overriding interests of the country. Senator Tinubu said he is mindful of the energetic discourse concerning his running mate between actors in the two religions, as both arguments are right in their own ways. To govern the country towards uncommon progress and innovation, the APC leader believes capacity and experience is required. He also assures that he will not and cannot ignore the religious concerns and ethnic sensitivities of Nigerians. Taking them into due consideration is an important part of good and able governance. Tinubu stated that to forge ahead as a nation towards development and prosperity, we must break free of old binds. We must recalibrate our political calculations to where competence and fairness matters, quote and unquote. The All Progressives Congress has described as false and misleading the report circulating on social media platforms that its national legal advisor has resigned. National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Morka, in a statement said Ahmed Usman El Marzouk is and remains the national legal advisor of the APC. The statement adds that Barrister Daniel Bwala, who purportedly left the APC, was not the national legal advisor, has been reported by some media, and urged the general public to kindly disregard such misleading information. To other issues, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the deployment of adequate police personnel, operational assets for the July 16 OSUN governorship election. First Public Relations Officer notes that the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, DIG Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, is to supervise and coordinate the security components of the election to ensure a peaceful environment that guarantees the security of law-abiding citizens as they perform their civic responsibilities. The IGP assures that the force will collaborate with the Independent National Electoral Commission and other stakeholders to protect democratic values, provide level playing field for all political actors, and ensure adequate protection of voters, INEC officials, equipment, accredited observers, and other key players in Osun State. The IGP admonishes the people of Osun State to be law-abiding and calls on eligible voters to come out en masse and exercise their franchise, as adequate security has been put in place to protect them before, during, and after the election. The Defense Headquarters has described as false and the allegations credited to former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode that the military was informed of the KUJE prison attack and that of the Abuja-Kaduna train incident by the Department of State Services, but no action was taken. He further alleged that the soldiers on duty at KUJE Correctional Facility were withdrawn shortly before the attack. A statement by the defense spokesperson, Major General Jimmy Akpo, says in all the allegations, Femi Fani-Kayode is merely playing to the gallery and that he is not in any position to know whether the DSS notified the military of any attack or not. The statement adds that the claim that soldiers were withdrawn from the KUJE Correctional Custodial Center before the attack is laughable and sad, noting that Mr. Kayode is ignorant of whose responsibility it is to guard correctional centers. On further claim that the military took no action on the recent Shiroro terrorist attack, which resulted in the death of security personnel, the Defense Headquarters maintain it is also an attempt to smear the military and create bad blood among security agencies. The Defense Headquarters urges members of the public to ignore the cooked-up stories of Femi Fani-Kayode and continue to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities promptly to law enforcement agencies. Well, in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir celebrations, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has granted pardon to 87 inmates of various correctional centers across Kano State. Also, 3 other inmates on death row had their sentence commuted to life imprisonment. During a Salah visit to the Gorunduse Custodial Center, Governor Ganduje said this is in response to President Buhari's call on stakeholders to work towards decongesting custodial homes. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Stepping out of the walls of custody to freedom amid cheers from other inmates of the Gorunduse Custodial Center is Adamu, who spent 23 years there. He and 9 others were serving life sentence before being considered for pardon by Kano State Government's Committee on Prerogative of Mercy. As Governor Ganduje came calling, another set of 77 inmates serving different jail terms on grounds of indebtedness and minor offences were pardoned after the government settled their fines and debts.
And in addition to that, each has been given 5,000 naira as a kind of cost of transportation.
3 inmates on death row had their sentence commuted to life. This brings to 90 the number of inmates pardoned by the governor this Salah and 3,898 since his assumption of office in 2015.
I really appreciate this kind of gesture, and I hope other state governments will emulate this kind of gesture.
After enjoying special meals provided by the state government, other inmates had a moment to celebrate in style. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The Court-Martial Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyemi, expresses satisfaction with the conduct of the motoring public during the ongoing Salah celebrations and commends the professionalism of operatives of the Corps, saying their excellent performances impacted positively on the special operations. In a statement officially signed by the Court Public Education Officer, B.C. Kazim, Oyemi gave the commendation deployed from the national headquarters to monitor the special operations nationwide. The court-martial, after receiving briefs from supervisory officers on the activities of the Corps, urged the staff not to rest on their oars. While conceding that there were some setbacks in the special patrol exercise, the court-martial admonished operatives to rededicate themselves for greater performance, noting that in the period under consideration, a noticeable number of motoring public were seen violating traffic rules. The court-martial warns those involved desisting from such unsafe behaviors so as to achieve a drastic reduction in crashes within the period under consideration and beyond. We're going to break now. We're back shortly. Welcome back. There is a renewed advocacy for the private sector in Nigeria to key into efforts of taking various research findings and innovations of research institutes off the shelves for commercialization that will translate to economic development of the country. This time, attention has been drawn to the Shedda Science and Technology Complex Abuja, where several research results of importance have remained unharnessed for mass production. Justin Bem-Unye will tell us more about it.
Recently placed on the shelf of an array of innovations and research results by the Shedda Science and Technology Complex is an archer desanding machine, an equipment invented to remove sand particles from archer grains. This is a technology that is much craved for in Nigeria and Africa. It is just one of the numerous technologies the Research Institute has come up with in accordance with its mandate. From kaolin-based and cement-based refractive brakes to spray dryers, desert date seed oils, binocular microscope and bioactive products from the Biotechnology Advanced Research Center are some products and equipments on the long list. And this was one issue that came handy as the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation went on a familiarization visit to the agency. She described the institute as a fit-for-purpose agency with valuable mandate that will improve the economic growth and development of Nigeria if properly funded and resourced. The ministry canvassed the need for private sector participation and commercialization.
We need to encourage collaboration, especially with the industry, the private sector, to partner with SHESCO.
Taking up our research results. That is the most we can do, and that is why we have the business development unit. They will be able to interface with the public sector.
The Shedda Science and Technology Complex SHESCO is an agency designed to carry out multidimensional and disciplinary research in nuclear technology, biotechnology and genetic engineering, as well as chemistry, physics, mathematics and simulation. Justin Bem-Unye, NTA News.
The Chairman Federal Civil Service Commission, Dr. Tukur Bello Ingawa, has commended the management of State House for reviving the culture of rewards and recognition for deserving civil servants who distinguished themselves in public service. At the send-off ceremony in honor of some former staff of State House, including the current Permanent Secretary of the Federal Civil Service Commission, the chairman expressed concern that the culture of recognizing well-deserving staff had taken a back seat and urged ministries, departments and agencies of government to emulate the State House and resuscitate the practice of appreciating best skills and abilities in the service. The chairman congratulated the current Permanent Secretary of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Dr. Ogbe, on her appointment and described her as a very reliable officer and team player, adding that since her posting to the commission, she has proven her worth as a highly dedicated officer. He also praised other celebrants, including Dr. Oga Omali and Matron Igwemo, for serving with great commitment, retiring meritoriously from the civil service, as well as the Solicitor General of the Federation for conscientiously working with her colleagues in the Commission to resolve pressing legal issues in the service. It is no longer news that lives were lost and property submerged following Saturday's downpour in Lagos. The news now is that residents fear they may lose more as long as the rains persist. Annie Daniels reports.
Makoko community is not only a densely populated area of Lagos, but has canals all around it. Gaining access into some of its streets was almost impossible for me because of how bad the roads are. No thanks to the rains.
Where is the gutter we have, so that when we are flushing, the water will go through the gutter, but even all the gutters they do is blocked. When gutter is down, the house is up.
Within last week, just in that the water is coming from the ground.
Where will you sleep this night?
We'll go and sleep another person's house.
Several hours after the rains, the floods are still visible and residents are still counting their losses.
And some people were not even around, so it enters their room, TV, spoils so many electronics and
we fear. This one now we fall again. Now all of us we fear.
Young and old, nobody is exempted from pains of the previous day's rains.
When I don't know how to walk, and if I stay, you see my white and my shoe.
These canals are supposed to make movements of flood easy, but that seems not to be the case here.
See the canal, see the floor here. They need to open this channel so that water will can flow. Exactly.
Lagos promised us that they'll come and do the casting of all the canals so that it will be avoiding the much rebels that always enter the canal. So we are still waiting for the government to come and do that.
Until that happens, Lagosians are sure they will have more property and productive hours to use since they cannot stop the downpour. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
An orphanage at number 19 Street, Ugbowo in Benin Metropolis was ravaged by flood over the weekend as property worth millions of naira destroyed. Good Luck Enani reports that Trinitarian Foundation, an orphanage situated in the area, is now confronted with the challenge of providing shelter and care for the inmates.
19th Street is one of the streets in Ugbowo axis that the state government is carrying out some rehabilitation works. Few months after the commencement of the project came the rains. What would have been a theme of joy, the residents of the area say has become a source of worry as the waterways have been blocked.
This is one of the children's room. When we discover that it's not what we can handle, we have to move the children out of the room.
This orphanage was spared as occupants, mainly children, including a set of triplets, were rescued, but most of their valuables, including foodstuff, were destroyed by the flood.
What is paining me is that when they are grading this road, and we observed what they did, that they packed sand where the water flowed in the area. We met them and explained to them that there is a tendency that when it rains, our house will be in danger because they carry the sand and cover the place that rain enters when it falls. They say they are coming to do it. They are coming to do it. We keep on reminding them. Before we could have known what is going on, all the rooms are flooded. My documents, thank God, the triplets were in the room lying down. They called me that their rooms are flooded. We have to rush them to the bigger bed.
We are begging the government to come to our aid because from what we are seeing, I'm not sure any individual can control this situation.
Other victims share their story.
We block all the old waterways, the place that water is supposed to pass, and now the water cannot skate through.
You can see my cement shop. Water entered my cement shop.
I was at home this morning where they called me that I should rush down to make sure that water has taken over the whole shop. So on my getting here, both material that I want to use to work, people's job that I have already done, wardrobe and all, water have already destroyed them.
They are appealing to the state government to come to their aid. In Benin, good luck in NTA News.
Very sad there. In a bid to maintain the master plan of the state and its aesthetics, illegal structures along the waterways in Onitsha and its environs have been demolished by the Anambra state government. In them, Kalu reports that owners of the illegal structures will bear the cost of the demolition.
The exercise carried out by government joint task force followed the expedition of the notice served on developers and building owners who built several illegal structures along the waterways in Fege and environs within Onitsha since April 2022. The affected buildings were churches, shops and other structures which were sited on the waterway, resulting in heavy flooding in the city of Onitsha. During the exercise, some owners of mighty buildings tried to put up resistance by attacking members of the task force, a development that didn't go down well with the state government.
If you go to challenge the authorities will reply you. These law enforcement agents have been fighting to keep us alive. They're putting their own life on the way. They are still putting their life on the way to help us to clean our places and so on and so forth. And let nobody. They also deserve to be treated with decency, respect.
Governor Chukwumasoludo in a media briefing noted that the demolition is not targeted at any particular person or group. Rather, it is in line with the move to recover the master plan of Onitsha and other cities in the state that have been severely abused and turned to slums. The governor noted that despite the long notice given to owners of the illegal structures to remove them, they were not able to comply. Hence, they will bear the consequences of the demolition.
Now that they have failed, and I'm telling you, by the time we finish, this demolition is costing money. It's going to cost money to take away the debris. We are going to put down the cost and send each one of them the bill.
The governor assured builders and developers on appropriate signs to go about their normal businesses without fear of molestation. In Oka, Ndamkalo, NTA News.
That's Panorama. Thank you for your time. We urge you to continue to support NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth.